Welcome to my channel. Hello! Hello, hello, hello! To the hammer! Yes, too many a hammer. Yeah, Ahoy! How y'all doing? How are all of you doing? How you beautiful people, you beautiful fucking people. How you doing? What's going on? What's happening? I've been having a think. Xenomorphs versus Tyranids surprisingly complex. Not as complex as you think. Oh no, Xenomorphs they got close combat claws and acid blood. Tyranid goes, I'm you but better. Buzz Lightyear is a PG rated to start. He's changed my mind. No, he is not. He is a space ranger and not a psychopath. And he hasn't even been augmented. He's PG Imperial Guard.
I can smell you.
T-Com, fuck you.
But I can smell you.
No, you can't. I'm not smelly.
No, you smell of lilac and elderberries.
You lie. You're full of lies. Lies and slander.
That's my line.
Lies and slander. Just found my crimson fists in the wild. I am a happy boy. Ah, good for you. Oh boy. Carl M. Rad, thanks for the follow. So, lots of people have seen my stuff, and I'm very happy. Aphrodite, hello! I am not a lord. I am but a peasant. If I was a lord, I would not be broke.
I mean, you could buy a lordship and still be broke.
It's you, Charlie. You're the hero. What? Starship Troopers is an accurate portrayal of the Imperial Guard fighting Nids. Oh. Lord of Peasants! I am the Peasant King!
Wait, if you're a peasant king, that means you're not a peasant.
It just means I am the king of peasants, which means I am a peasant. What's up? Not much!
That just means that unlike the other peasants, you have enough money to buy bread.
No, you can buy bread without having any sawdust in it.
Exactly. You're not actually rich, you're just rich compared to them.
How rich are you? Well, I could buy the bread without the sawdust in it. Thoughts on 40k collab that happened in COD? How do you fuck that up? Imperial Guard was sitting right there, and you choose to make skinny-ass Space Marines. Who the fuck made that decision? Oh my god. Oh my god. That's disgusting. I'm sorry. Already have the game on DC. We'll definitely be getting it on Xbox. And that sort of
watching a Space Marine carry an AK was just so weird.
you had so many options. That's our games. I have one thing to say to you, Sons of Malice. When I have 1 million followers. When you guys get me to 1 million subscribers on YouTube, I will talk about the Sons of Malice. I am setting up an impossible fucking challenge. You will never get me to 1 million subscribers. Therefore, I never have to talk about Sons of Malice.
We'll do it out of spite.
Oh,
how many alt accounts do I need to make?
it's never
to
happening.
Get him to 1 million.
It's never happening.
100,000? Okay, that's time to make a few 100,000 alt accounts.
Don't you fucking dare. It has to be legitimate.
You never said
You
that.
won't
That's
know.
not even a condition.
You won't know.
I will know, because you
How
won't
do you
be
know?
posting anything with all those millions of accounts, will you?
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
analytics
can
will
post
tell you.
I can post exactly one video each one.
Yeah, because I forgot the analytics will tell you that all these people subscribed and then never watched your content.
X Black, thanks for the follow. Also, I see you, Farva. Why so angry? Why so much malice? It's because genuinely that malice is such an uninteresting concept when it comes to the powers of chaos. They are just anarchy in general, but they've only ever appeared in one White Dwarf issue, have never been mentioned or heard from ever again, and then 40k decided to add in the Sons of Malice, who basically I can just say are the cowprint Marines with a bit of a fucking cannibalism problem. They have not been mentioned ever since a short story that was brought up in an anthology book that is very hard to fucking find. But people, for some reason, are so fascinated with this fucking cowman that I have no idea why. So, unless you guys get me to 1 million fucking subscribers on YouTube, I don't care.
Okay, time to grab every person I know and all your current subscribers and tell everybody to make at least 100,000 alt accounts.
It's never
Post
gonna
one
happen.
video each, and have each
But
alt account
Cowman,
cost
but
20
Farva, there are 1 million other things that I could talk about, like the fish people, the Tau Empire. How do you think Custodes are made? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you how they're made. I'm gonna tell you how I think they're made. You see
Test
when
tubes.
you see when one test tube meets another test tube and they're introduced to a child, and then you throw magic in there. Custodes. Done. Smart.
I think
Genius.
When-
Millions
when
of dollars are mine.
When a test tube daddy and a test tube mommy love each other very much.
There's no Salamander's Codex, right? Glamring, there is a Salamander's Codex. It's called Codex Space Marine.
They don't have a supplement yet.
They won't be getting a supplement.
Oh.
Only Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves,
Space
and
Wolves.
Black Templars will be.
Oh.
Custodes.
Okay.
Custodes, fuck. I don't know about that one. Citation needed. A little bit of an intense workout on steroid use, you get Custodes. No, that's how you get catechins.
Let's see.
That's
Custodian
not a
is-
knife. This is a knife. As he shows a fucking sword.
No.
I mean, if those
What is it
pinups, if those 40k pinups are to be believed, they do fuck.
A Custodes is made when someone takes a piece of the Emperor's left pinky,
Steel,
throws into
I
a vat of
told
growth
you.
hormone, and
Steel,
makes a
I
new
told
fist.
you. 1 million subscribers, and then you get your malice. You get your malice video. Everyone gets the malice video at 1 million subscribers. Not 1 million followers on TikTok. Could give less of a fuck. 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Why? Because then I have proven that some dumb autistic fuck like myself, I am actually autistic, could do it. And then I shall reward all of you with the knowledge of maybe a paragraph.
What if I donate $1,000 to your Ko-fi?
Do you have $1,000?
I do.
Are you okay? I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm gonna go on Lexicanum right now. Count how many fucking paragraphs there are.
There's not gonna be more than 2.
I've
I'm-
spent more money on less.
Oh god, you're one of those.
There
you're
are
very important people, don't you?
2 there are 3 paragraphs: the introduction, the overview, his followers, and that's it. And then I could also talk about the Sons of Malice, which you have to, because they're the only thing that makes this motherfucker interesting. So do you think $1,000 is that interesting? Do you think $1,000 is worth that?
I've spent more money on less.
You spent it on.
You're forgetting. I
You know
used
what?
to be a business owner. I had stupid money.
Okay, so you know what? If TCOM donates $1,000 or we get me to 1 million subscribers, I will talk about Malice. And if he does donate $1,000, then I need to think of something new for like a million subscriber goal. Okay? He's not gonna do it. I know for a fuck he's not gonna donate $1,000. Okay? I know it for a fucking fact. He's not gonna do
Fuck
it.
no, I'm not. Convince me why I should.
The lulz?
Not you. Not you. Everyone else.
Everyone else has to convince you to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Convince TCOM why you should donate $1,000 to me so that way you can get your Malal video.
It's very simple. Just to fuck with you.
Oh, fuck
The
you.
lulz, yes, exactly what I said earlier.
Hi, Aramis.
That's not Hermes. Fuck you.
ADHD says, trust us, bro. Just do it.
Yes,
You know what?
he's always
What video? Malal. Malice. You know what? I'll sweeten the pot. I'll sweeten this little pot.
Oh.
I won't just make it a TikTok video. I'll make it a fully edited YouTube video.
Oh.
It will make announcer of games mad. Why do you guys like seeing me mad?
Because you're mad all the time.
I am not mad all the time.
Have you seen
You're the secret of Bruce Banner. How can he control the Hulk? Because he's mad all the time.
I am not mad all the time. In fact, the proper thing is that I am depressed all the time. Thank you very much.
Come on, hooligan. That's not a convincing hooligan. That's not a convincing argument. Boss would be happy to get the $1,000. That's it's not gonna make him suffer. He'll be happy about it.
Yeah, help him have him with money.
Yeah, it's money.
I actually don't. I actually don't. I just like to annoy people with Sons of Malice. Steel, why? Yes and
Also,
yes. Uh-oh.
Announcer, you need to relook at the name that entered into here. Because I'm not Aramis.
I know you're not Aramis. I saw Aramis in fucking TikTok shit. You don't think I don't know you, sir?
No, you don't know me,
Mr.
apparently.
Muffinbot, Sir fucking Farva himself, the Necron, the Iron Hand, the Mechanicus lad. Honestly, I can't tell because sometimes you come in with power armor, and then other times you come in as a robotic skelly, and then other times you're wearing the robes of a Mechanicus guy, and it's just like, please pick something.
No, it's all the machine. All praise the machine. I am a skeleton robot in power armor that's wearing robes.
Erasmus, yes, I can dethrone you.
That way, if the armor gets destroyed, I'm still a Necron that can't.
Where do you recommend to start reading Warhammer books? I should just have like my stream on like 24/7, replaying all my videos on loop.
I have a K.
There's
Soul Hunter series. Ghosts.
The Black Library has an entire list of books where you can start.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello, announcer of games, new to the channel, and love how you do Warhammer lore. I've learned so much. Thank you. Can I say something? Someone commented today, could I speak...
Hey, Hermes.
So, someone asked me today, could I speak faster?
You speak faster?
Someone said I had to turn you on 2 times speed. Motherfucker, the TikTok videos are barely like 9 minutes long.
I think
What-
this guy's
do
brain
I-
process is
Do
too
I
fast.
look like the fucking Micro Machines guy?
Maybe.
Oh, John Machida?
Faster, 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 faster,
It's quite possible very quickly if you have the ability to do so, but you need to have the education to do so. Like
They
me
want
from
you to be
North
like
Wales.
Sanic.
First off, hello, Receptor 17. Nice to have you on.
Also,
thank
we
you for letting me
just
join.
said-
It's nice to be finally able to join in with this.
I'm
Easy
glad.
solution for you to speak faster. We're going to send you to auctioneering school. You can learn how to cut words down, but still have them make sense. So you can speak really fast.
Oh,
but
no.
Nobody understands the video.
Please don't
The
speak
trick
faster.
is-
My brain wouldn't comprehend. That's something my wife actually had to train me on, to not speak so fast.
Yeah.
Wait, somebody asked you to speak faster?
Yeah, they're like, I had to turn you on 2 times speed. Could you speak faster, please, in your videos? Motherfucker, it's TikTok! I'm already worried that it's already damaged your attention span.
Also, I would just like to point out he has admitted that he is well trained.
I have to speak slower so you can understand me.
He is a trained animal.
Because if you
I mean-
speak too fast, and all we're gonna hear is the ramblings of a mad fucking mole that we don't understand.
Hey, Madman is my shtick. Stay out of it.
The Salty
I said
Sionian,
Mad
thanks for the
Mole.
follow.
Don't worry. We're all
Hi,
back
hi.
here.
Did you like the Primaris Marines? I love their models. So, at first, I didn't like how they were introduced. I did not like that. But
Oh yeah, they're kind
Over-
of like dropped.
over time, they grew on me. And then I read Dark Imperium. Oh my god, I got such a new appreciation for them. Oh my god,
I
like,
can't wait to start the third book.
was it Captain Acheron that was the main character of the Dark Imperium? book?
Yes, Dark Imperium was such a good series of books just because of showing how Gilliman's perceives the Imperium he's woken back up in, and how the Primaris perceive everything.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so well done.
oh my god, the author knew what he was doing.
Mhm.
Guy
Am I
Haley.
correct?
Oh my god.
Yeah. My biggest thing is, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the Primaris model just because I find it very generic. So to say,
Agreed.
for there's nothing special about it unless you go out of your way to make it special. Like, that's one of the reasons why I love the old Mark III armors and Mark IV power armors, because they had more detail on them. They were more unique. They gave you a feel for something.
Yeah, and
Primaris seemed very just bland, mass-produced armor, which I understand is kind of the concept of it because Cole made it.
so in the Dark Imperium books, it really does give us a deep dive into the Primaris Marines and who they are. So imagine this. You are a child, and then randomly one day, whether you're at school or in like your job, some Imperial agents come into your work or your school. They snap their fingers, pointing to you and several other kids, and then you just get straight haloed. Like you get like fucking Spartan 2
Yeah.
Project. But this time, like, your parents knew it was happening.
Excuse me, sir. They don't come into the room. That's that animation. He kicks the door down. It goes flying across the room. It goes, you, and you. You're coming with me.
Yeah, so then you're put through horrific surgeries to become the next generation of Space Marines. And then you're
Yes.
put into stasis for 10,000 years. And then you are woken up 10,000 years later.
Yeah.
And then you wake up to an empire you do not even recognize anymore.
No.
Because the second that the Primaris Marines interacted with everyone, it was a culture shock. These guys, it was so bad that a lot of them are like, are we sure we shouldn't be shooting these people?
Yeah, there's a lot of these Space Marine chapters that really rejected them at first just because they weren't sure about it. I can't remember which ones it were. I think the Space Wolves did for first a little bit, and a couple others just because they weren't sure of them.
Yeah, and it was...
Oh, there was a huge culture shock especially for the excuse me, especially for the chapters that worshipped the Emperor, like the Black Templars.
Oh yeah,
God,
they
yeah,
were...
Black Templars must have had a field time.
Oh, they did it. I really like it. So I'm going to talk about Dark Imperium first, then I'm going to talk about sequel Plague War, because we got more into that. So Dark Imperium, there is a scene in the book where the captain from Space Marine 2, Acheron, or I I swear to God, I think it's Acheron, but it might not be. But basically, the Space Marine captain is boxing a servitor, and during this, he's flashing back to his memories as a kid, as he's beating up this machine, where he sees his mom, he sees his sister, he sees his family and his friends, and then he's reliving everything, and he's getting angrier and angrier until he breaks the servitor. And then it's just
That's a Nova Marine.
no, that was the captain. Like that was the captain
Yeah.
character of Dark Imperium.
That was
Nova-
the one that was unsure that was put into the Ultramarines as captain. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Was-
the scene ends with him just standing there shaking violently because he's so angry about what happened to him. He sees it as completely unfair.
Well, here's another one. That's a good just insight into just the Primaris and the process itself. You didn't want to be the first to be experimented on for the Primaris, because in Belisarius' Call a Great Work, you gaily get a Space Marine with flashbacks, a Primaris, in how bad the surgeries and experimentations were, where they literally look at Call as a monster.
Yeah, it's in Belisarius Call's book, The Great Work, the first Primaris Marine that was a success, he keeps that one around for himself. And that Primaris Marine said to him at one point, "You fucking ruined me. You destroyed me."
Mhm.
And
Okay, so there's more onto that. There's more into Alpha Primus.
and it's
Um,
and the response that Call gives does not help the situation. It's just shut up. I made you better.
yeah.
Is
Okay.
it me, or does that have a strange parallel to, for those in the Halo fandom, Ilsa Zane?
Yeah. So there's another thing to Alpha Primus, who is the first Primaris. I don't know if boss, if you've read Gene Father yet.
I saw snippets of it.
So I'm gonna give a little bit of spoiler to it. Gene Father, the reason why Call keeps Alpha Primaris around is for multiple reasons. First off, his gene seed is the direct primary coded gene seed that gives Primaris psychic abilities, everything. It is the conglomerate of every gene seed ability of the Primaris in one. So he kept that right beside him. That's why Primaris, Alpha Primaris' soul doesn't sit right, or doesn't feel right. His soul doesn't sit right because it's Call's soul split in half because he's a clone of Call. Call treats it like it's his son.
That is so Belisarius Call, and Onyx Angel just said, "Hey Call, what you got there?" A smoothie.
Because the whole conversation is between Fabius Bile and Call. And Fabius Bile is appreciating Call's work and working on this, being the man flayer himself. And just points out of like Call chooses to let Bile get away with the gene seed from Alpha Primaris to save Alpha Primaris. He actually does love him like a son, but he is a mechanicus machine. He cannot show that emotion.
Call is such an interesting character.
Oh, 100%. And that book, if you haven't read it yet, to go through it, is such a gung show of hilarious moments, but also some really eye-opening of the 41st millennium of what the two smartest idiots in the universe are doing.
Eagle, thank you. I'm very glad that I'm like your main source of Warhammer content. Please also subscribe to my YouTube if you want more. Sam, I am doing perfectly fine. Could you forcibly implant a gene seed into a Custodes, like just to see what happens?
I wouldn't do it.
You'd have a lot of corpses. Let's just put it that way.
You'd have a lot of corpses.
The Custodes' body would probably just reject it.
100%. Because
So is it
Custodes
just talking today,
are-
announcer, or are you going to game? I do not have enough time to game, sadly. I said maybe, but I have a stew cooking. It's a beef stew. And I need to make sure that is fully cooked, because we are also going to
So
a
when
friend's
can we
house
come
I
over for
stream.
dinner?
When you can find a way how to get to Canada and find out where I live.
Yeah, fair.
He lives north of Calgary.
Shut up! I don't need cum in my mailbox! Hey, do you also play Magic
Actually,
cards?
what?
If so, did you think... Hey, how did you think they did with the Warhammer crossover? So, I do have the 40k Chaos deck. I bought it. And I think they did a pretty good job with it.
I have the Necron Commander deck, and that
course you
thing
do.
slaps hard.
Of course you
Even
do.
still as a pre-con deck, it is still mean to this day. Of course
Well,
I do. I'm a Necron player.
It's an
All hail
artifact
the
deck.
machine.
Artifact decks are fucking nightmares. But yeah,
Oh.
so
It's more than a nightmare than that.
So, to continue on with the Primaris Marine stuff and what got me more interested in them, in Plague War, you got to see the process in which how some chapters tried to integrate them into their chapter structure. And at like the end of Dark Imperium 1, like all these Primaris Marines, who by the way, they were called the Unnumbered Sons. So these guys are basically like they were lumped into squads and they could hail from like anywhere. So like you could have a Blood Angel with a Space Wolf and an Ultramarine and a Dark Angel all working in the same squad. And all of them were like, yeah, we're going to go like, I'm hoping to like join the Ultramarines themselves. Or like, man, I really hope the Dark Angels accept me for who I am. Or like the Space Wolf was just like, I can't wait to go to the fucking Fang and join my brothers. And then
the lottery system.
And then it was a lottery system. And then you just see how all these Marines who were hoping to go to like their parent chapters, you just see the color flush from their face as they're like told, you're going to the Nova Marines, you're going to the Flesh Terrors, you're going here, you're going there. And all of them are just so heartbroken. Because they were told, you are going to be part of the founding chapters, the founding legions. Yeah. And now you're being sent off to some god knows where fuck.
But if I remember correctly, the one that went to the Ultramarines is the captain we end up following.
Yep.
But he also gives a wonderful speech to kind of give them encouragement that no matter where you're going, just remember you are serving the Emperor and doing his will.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them that were merged to like create new chapters. They were I don't want to say pissed off, but they were extremely disappointed.
They were extremely upset.
Yeah.
Could be worse. You could have it where your chapter's gone heretically rogue. The Custodes.
The War of the Spider is hilarious. But so
file that came through for the Custodes when that story came out.
The captain's best friend during his time with the Unnumbered Sons, he got sent to the Nova Marines. And I talked about this before, but the Nova Marines, oh my god, it was such a... I really like the dichotomy they had in the scene where they were like showing this guy like trying to learn the ways of the Nova Marines, their culture, their history. And he's just, it's like you're taking on a spiritual journey, but you're an atheist. And then so
it took months for him to get, well, you wouldn't even let him off their space station. It took him months to get acclimated.
Yeah, and he's put in this tank and put into a dreamlike state. And as he's going through it, like this chaplain and this captain are like telling him the story of the Nova Marines, their history and everything. And he just can't get into it. He's picking apart the legend. Like he's just like, this makes no sense. This is stupid. What the fuck do you mean? It's just a natural event that happens on a planet. And like, it's so bad that he rejects the connection that they're trying to do, and he's forced out of the tank. And I love the dichotomy between the captain and the chaplain, because the captain's the first one to walk up to him, put his hand on his shoulder, and is like, hey, it's okay, take a breath, you're safe, we'll try again tomorrow. And the chaplain's just like, these Primaris Marines are so fucking worthless, they can't even get it through their heads.
You know what? That sounds like a chaplain. It sounds like a chaplain. And
the one thing that I love is that the Primaris Marine does not fucking take that shit lying down. He immediately gets up and says, you want to fucking fight. You want to start something. And the chaplain's about ready to throw hands when the captain gets in the way of them and has to push them away from each other. And he says, you don't talk to your chaplain that way, to quarters. And then he turns around to the chaplain and says, you have to fucking understand what these guys are going through. This is like, yeah, it's hard on us because we have no idea what the fuck these guys are. But like, this is an order from our Primarch. We have to make this work. So you need to be better. And the chaplain just like grumbles and like says, they'll be the undoing of us all. And then later, that Primaris Marine helps save the Nova Marines. So like,
It's on the third book because I'm just about to start it, which I'm very much looking forward to.
It's a very good book. It's a very good introduction, again, to the Primaris' way of being folded into the rest of the chapters. Gilliman's point of view on the world itself of him coming back to an Imperium that worships the Emperor as a god, and his rejection of that, but he can't reject it because if he did, the Imperium would fall apart and go into another civil war, which they can't do, and just him just accepting what's going on just so that he can try and save the Imperium.
And it's also surprisingly, I wasn't expecting this from Godblight, but it's a good look into Mortarion as well.
Oh yeah, like
I was not expecting that.
Not just Mortarion. My surprise was the look into Kugoth.
Oh yeah, no, that was I was not expecting that.
Yeah, like okay, I don't know a whole lot about Nurgle before that book, and I didn't really know who Kugoth was, so I started doing some research while I was listening to it. And oh my god, poor Kugoth. Like him and Mortarion are the two of poor me's. We are outcasted because, well, Kugoth believes he fucked up, but really he didn't. He just was upset because he drank his grandfather's greatest plague. Mortarion, what the fuck did you do, Typhus?
What did you do, Typhus? God, that was so fucking... I laughed so hard when I was listening to the book. Because... Mortarion orders Typhus to come back to him to help him against, like, Gilliman and the Ultramarines. And Typhus tells him that unless it's an order from Nurgle himself, to fuck off.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's just like, poor fucking, like, this is where a lot of...
Pardon?
This is where the Warhammer community's gotten the idea. Like, if there's a Chaos Primarch that could be pulled back from the abyss, it's probably Mortarion, because he didn't choose it. Typhus did it.
Yeah, Mortarion was forced to.
Yeah.
But it's so... You start learning, like, the hierarchy of chaos, and Typhus is right. He says that, like, out of everyone, yeah, you're a demon prince of Nurgle, but I outrank you.
Yeah.
And that is something that is so alien. Because if you've read 40k books with Primarchs in them before, oh my god, how much Space Marines subordinate themselves to their Primarch. And just seeing Typhus give pushback, and not only pushback, but he can back it up.
Just outright tells them, go fuck yourself.
He almost completely bodies Gilliman. Gilliman gets poisoned a second time.
What?
Yeah, we can't spoil it for you, but it's... Oh...
Does he get a kiss of life from his missus to help him?
No.
Yvraine, surprisingly, Yvraine is nowhere to be found in these books.
Yeah.
He makes mention of her once, and he's uncomfortable with the implications.
He's still like this book, if you imagine, it's like only been a couple months since his reawakening, to the point that he's actually able to take the armor of fate off for a certain amount of time until it starts to hurt.
Someone did ask me, I have a question. Why did Constantine Valdor disappear / leave? So we got a little bit of his perspective in Death and the End. It's because he believed he failed. And did he fail? It's up to your interpretation. It's up to your point of view. I'd say there was literally nothing he could have done to prevent what happened. And it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault that he and Doran were teleported to a side of the ship where it made them believe they were lost in a desert. It's literally not their fault.
Calstein Caldor, that's one of the custodian generals?
Yeah,
or-
that's the Captain General during the Horus Heresy.
Okay, because that's the one that's rumored to be, if I remember correctly, to
Hmm.
be the Yellow King? Or the King in Yellow?
It might be. I don't know.
No, it is.
We-
Uh,
we
He's the
don't-
one
we
that
don't
peop-
know.
that people think
Yeah,
that-
I know some people have theorized that it
He's
sounds like it's
rumored.
him because he is missing still currently, and he didn't die during the heresy.
Yeah, we know for a fact he didn't die.
Yeah.
Though that did start the tradition of the Eyes of the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't know what the Eyes of the Emperor are, they are basically custodies who grew old enough to feel their age and knew that they're, even by a second, they slowed down. And like, to a regular person, if you watch an older custodies and a regular custody spar, you'd think like, oh my god, they're perfectly matched. There's nothing there.
No. One's a millisecond slower.
Yeah, one's a millisecond slower. They know it, so they go and become a spy instead.
Yep.
So, like, that's what they are.
Could
Honestly,
you imagine James Bond Custody? Double O Custody.
No, they would give you like some ridiculously long name.
Yeah.
Double
My
O.
name is John Jacob
15
Dingle.
like
I'm
15
shit.
nonsensical words back to back.
Well,
I wonder how the
So
heck
basically,
those
what you're
companies
saying
make
is it
themselves
should be the name of the Welsh village up the road from where I was born.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I was going
so,
to just say it was going to be some British nonsense, but yeah, that works too.
that works.
That is British.
No.
It's Welsh.
Like,
It's Cymraeg.
guys, I
No,
want you
no,
all
you
to
can't say
understand
that.
how I want you all to understand how stupid custodies are at the end of the day. Like, you got these monstrosities, these massive super soldiers that like just under a Primarch level of strength, just under it.
You shouldn't talk about yourself like that.
And they get rewarded with names.
I get a name today?
I get a name today? And, like, they will stand there for hours telling you their name. And you're going, like, are we done? I'm sorry, we just got through the first scroll. The first what?
Come on, dude, I got dinner plans. Let's go.
It's the fucking like as Receptor just sang there. It's like listening to Yakko sing "The Countries of the World."
Okay, but I can listen to that. 'Cause
Are
that's funny.
are the custodians harder to make than the Astartes? Yes, by
Yes.
a wide. Let's put it this way: the Emperor, if the Emperor could choose, he would have made custodies more than Space
Oh, yeah.
Marines. But
And then he'd
Yeah.
do to the Space Marines what he did to the Thunder Warriors.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's mentioned in the Carrion Throne. You can make an entire chapter for a single Custodes.
yeah, so custody like where one Marine equals 100 men, one Custodes equals 100 Space Marines.
They
And-
are genetically perfect.
And the
And
reason
custody players will let you know that.
but their process to make them is so fucking inconvenient. It's so expensive that running a military of nothing but Custodes, it's not worth
It's
it.
impossible.
It's better that they're
Especially at a
bodyguards.
galactic scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then basically impossible to scale up.
Wasn't it mentioned the Emperor intended to outfit them all in Terminator armor? I don't remember that. Can I talk about
I
T.
don't.
Sean and him telling off the other Space Marines for using civilians as bait to kill the orcs?
Oh, we've talked about that so much.
Yeah, we talked about that so much.
Yes,
Hey,
well,
custodians do have Terminator armor.
Yeah, they do, but someone
Yeah,
asked, was
they
like,
do.
didn't you want to outfit them all in it? No, I don't think
no.
so
It
because
would
they
just
have
be
different roles.
impractical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be impractical.
Question: are the Custodians worth it in Kill Team? God, yes. Oh my God, they are like the only way I see Custodians losing is by objectives because like for like I bring a Kill Team of like 5 men, you bring like 2 Custodians.
Yeah,
You bring a
but
2,000
even-
army, you got 10 custodies. Well, I've got like
even-
100 things.
Even in like regular 40k or even 30k, objectives is where you're really lacking because of
Yeah.
the amount of units you have and how fast they can move.
Custodians.
Yeah, but at least. Oh, go ahead.
Custodians in 40k are supposed to be the army of quality. You are
Yeah.
buying the best ground troops the game can ever give you. The trade-off is that since you are quality over quantity, for every one squad of Custodes, I can bring 2 or 3 other squads of something else.
Yeah.
It's the same
it-
thing as guardsmen over spacemen. You're getting more quantity over the quality.
Yeah. It's the same thing too. Like in Heresy, Custodes do have a hard time taking objectives, even at 3,000 points. But the fact is, when they do, they're hard to move. They're hard to shift off the objective. It takes a lot of fire factor just to get them off. Mind you, just throw some automatons at them in close combat, and it will fucking eat them up.
Oh god, we had a what are they called? The Imperial Guard for Horus Heresy. I'm forgetting their name.
Oh, the Solar Auxilia.
Yeah, Solar
Yeah.
Auxilia versus Custodes. And the Solar Auxilia player just got so sick and tired of not killing Custodes that he's just like, fuck it. I got like 200 men on the table. Charge. He won the game, not by killing the Custodes, but because the Custodes couldn't kill them fast enough.
And that's the whole point, is that you have to play your... And that's why I love Heresy. Heresy plays to the narrative of what the factions actually meant to do. And that's what the Solar Auxilia was. They were the Imperial Guard before the Imperial Guard existed. And they're the meat grinder. You just gum up the gears of another army.
Random,
Where it can't move, it can't kill enough. Just stupid shit.
random question, dude, but what's your opinion on the White Scars? Have been in the hobby a while, and most of the people I talk on don't really know them. I feel like they are one of the more obscure chapters. So the funniest thing is, the White Scars are the most obscure chapter, and they weren't popular for like the longest time. And then Horus Heresy tied that like lack of popularity into their fluff, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was great reading that.
Jagatai Khan and the White Scars, they're the kind of people where they tell you straight to your face, since you didn't bother to learn us, we didn't bother to learn about you. But we had no choice to, because you wouldn't shut the fuck up. Where, like, you screamed your achievements from the rooftops, I was doing my fucking job.
Yeah.
And
So, on tabletop reasons, it's white. Nobody wants to fucking paint white.
Oh god, the old school skull white to play with. Good grief, that was so bad. No, the only time they did show up though was when we had Kosaro Khan in 5th edition. Was ridiculously overpowered in tournaments. So much so, there's the famous story of the Kroot on the table that managed to end the game before turn 1 even started. One of my favorite pictures of all time.
The only way, in my opinion, unless you have really high-end brushes, is to get white to look good, is you have to airbrush it. But at that point, you have to be so careful with armor detail work that you could fuck it up and then have to go fucking correct it.
so
Airbrush it or prime it in white.
My-
That's really your only options.
my opinion on the White Scars is that reading their books, like reading their Horus Heresy books, they are so fucking interesting. They are so cool. They are Marines with personality, and I love it. And,
They are, really.
And that's the thing about, like, you learn about them slowly throughout the other legions. Like, you learn that the White Scars and the Thousand Sons were best friends. Like, oh my god! Like, every other legion either mistrusted or hated the Thousand Sons, and then you learn that the White Scars, they're best friends with them. And it's just like, how? What do you mean they're best friends? Oh, well, you see, the White Scars, they love their Psychers. They have an entire council called Stormseers, who basically are like another part of the command structure for their chapter, for their legion. And then, like, you learn more about their relationship, and it's like the Thousand Sons are like, oh, if we know a thing, we should use it, where the White Scars are like, let's not do that. How about you only drink as much as you need, and then we worry about, like, the consequences of that.
Yeah.
And
It comes down to, too, like, with that, almost every Primarch had at least one brother that was friendless, unless your name is Conrad Kurz.
Fulgrim like Conrad.
Fulgrim like Conrad?
Fulgrim like Conrad.
Okay.
Fulgrim actually, like, tried to, like, be Conrad's, like, best friend and everything.
That's right. But you know, the thing, like I said, like, a lot of people I talk to in my community and a little bit spread out is everybody loves the White Scars and the lore on them, and they're fantastic. The thing that stops them is the painting white.
It is a nightmare, and most White Scars players that I do meet and talk to, they said, I just primed it with White Scars white, and then I did detail work.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was easy, it was simple, and I didn't have to worry about it. And then any time that there was a little fuck up with the detailing, I just put gray somewhere.
Yeah. One of the buddies that I, before he moved, who built a White Scar army, did something that was really cool. He actually had me 3D print some parts off for him. Made them look like samurais on bikes. So like the clay shoulder pads, the fucking samurai helmet with the Space Marine helmet in it, with the giant flag on the back of the bike, like the
That was
perfect like
cool.
Mongolian samurai bikers.
They're so cool. But yeah, like, then you learn in Horus Heresy that, like, half of them, like, half the White Scars agreed with Horus. They wanted to side with Horus. Because, like, Horus was Jagatai's best friend, too.
Yeah.
And then, like...
Horus is everybody's best friend.
And then Jagatai... I'm actually amazed that, like, they made Jagatai such a character. Not only is he the roasting master of the Primarchs, this guy will roast you over a fucking fire. It's hilarious. But, like,
Yes.
he's the
Also,
Primarch.
because most common sense.
He's the Primarch who, when he has little information to go on, he goes out of his way to go find it. When, like, he's being told, like, the Space Wolves are traitors, you should kill them! No! It's Horus and his side! They're all traitors! Ah! As, like, they're having, like, that Mace Windu Palpatine situation. Jagatai just says, I'm gonna go figure this out on my own. Fuck you guys.
I'm gonna go ahead and get some unbiased information.
And he does. He goes and gets unbiased information. And then what really nails his decision is Mortarion. Because Mortarion comes up, basically says, like, hey, buddy, could you join Horus's side? There's a lot of warp fuckery going on, and I really need someone who's not an insane asshole. And that's not what you want to hear?
I am in danger.
And Jagatai just, like, starts laughing at him and says, oh, so you tasted the fruit of treachery and didn't like it. That sounds like a fucking you problem.
That sounds like a Jagatai thing to
That
say.
sounds like you should. That sounds.
And then
like you
what's
probably should've
even
thought
what's
harder at
what's
first.
even funnier in the same book is that Jagatai teleports back onto his ship after fighting Mortarion, and it's that scene from Community where the one guy comes back and everything's on fire. that is literally what he comes back to, and like
It was actually sweet in Civil War.
Yeah.
He was like, oh god damn it.
and
You know, time to get the belt.
No, it's that one scene of Community when Childish Gambino walks in the door and just everything's on fire.
that's
and
what I
chaos.
just said. That's what I just
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. I'm playing Space Marine multiplayer, and not.
You're
Yeah.
not paying attention. So, but something else that's very
Rude.
interesting, Jagatai, when he, like, stops the Civil War, because, like, all he needed to do was just yell at everyone to shut the fuck up and stop, everyone stops, both loyalists and the side that wanted to side with Horus. And he makes it clear, and he asks who the fuck started this. And the traitors sell out their leaders fast.
Yeah.
And so Jagatai kills their leaders, but then looks to the rest of them and says, okay, I understand where all of you are coming from. You're wrong. Here's why. And all those Marines, when shown the proof that they were wrong, all of them immediately took oaths of death. Like, we will fight the enemy to the death. We will delay them for you, our king.
We fucked up. We'll die.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to face your wrath afterwards.
And it's just like, how does a Primarch command such fucking loyalty from his warriors? Oh my
don't know.
god. And then you
Who's
read
killing
all
it?
the books, and then you come to understand it's a mutual respect.
Yeah. It
And
really
even-
is.
Even his Marines that were trying to join Horus, they weren't doing it as a, oh, he's better than you. No, it's a, we know you won't make that decision unless you feel like you have to. So we're going to try and force your hand.
Yeah, and
Because you know, if most of the Legion is doing this, you'll go with us.
it's such an there's such an interesting chapter in Legion. And Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of sucks that like Horus Heresy is really the only books that cover them. They do have some 40k books, but not nearly enough.
I think the only other one is Hunt for Voldorius. I think that's the Space
And
Marine Battles one from
Damocles Gulf,
2012.
but that book is bad.
And
We
there
don't
is
talk
one
about
more.
that
There is a short story in, I think it's Battles of Space Marines. It's one of those ones where a Chaos Lord or a Chaos Sorcerer literally puppets the body of a dead White Scar who was best friends, battle brothers with this one particular White Scar. So he goes out and hunts him down. I think that's the only other time I've ever read anything White Scar related outside of bits of the Codex.
That's fair. But yeah, like they're a fun chapter.
They're a fun time.
Why
you
don't we
know?
talk about the second and the 11th? Because I already did a video on the second and the 11th Legion.
There's no second and 11th. What are you talking about?
You referenced Ghost,
Heretics.
Space Elves, and Eldar in a few videos back. Were those the Asunari, the Asuryani? Yeah, that's the Inari. I Ghost Eldar, it's just the Inari because they worship the god of death. And oh
Okay.
boy, that's gonna be a video when I get to it.
That's a whole separate issue.
I made a video talking about how Future Vision works in 40k and that you shouldn't do it. And Eldrad popped up in that comment, and thanks to him, the Yanari shattered 3 craft worlds. Ulthwé,
Oh,
Bale,
that's a shame.
Tan, and Iandin are fucked.
Yep.
Would you ever make a video on the Gene Stealers? Yes, I will be making a stuff on the Gene Stealer cults eventually. Give it
You'd
some
have to
time.
find you have to find
They
his
come
genes.
from my
somebody stole it.
Levi's.
The Inari feels like a bit like a drop plot point at this point. That's the thing here. So the problem with Warhammer storytelling right now is that the Imperium, whether you like it or not, is the central focus of 40k. The last time we saw the Inari was in Psychic Awakening with War of the Phoenix, which was basically Drazar of the Dark Eldar wanted to go kill a Phoenix Lord for some reason. And the Yanari got involved. And that's it. That's where we left them off of. Where, like, Drazar and Jane Zar are fighting.
Yeah, there's a couple like books where you get the Ultramarine working with the Adari now, just because of Urane's and Gilliman's connection. But there hasn't been much because you got to remember what Warhammer novelists do is they'll grab onto. GW will tell them this is the list of stories we want to tell currently in the upcoming years. You get to pick which one you want to write, unless you're already like in deep on that specific title that you've already been writing multiple books on, and they'll go from there. And GW does have a little bit of a plan, little bit like a pin hair of a plan of that. Oh, in this era, after these books have come out, we're gonna do, or when this comes out, then we'll give focus to Yanari because we're giving them time in the lore to do the thing to bring the god of death around,
Yeah, and
or just horribly fuck up.
it's rough because when you want to read stuff about a faction that you like or are interested in, it's really hard because then you're like drowned in books of like Space Marines, then there's Imperial Guard, and then maybe some Sisters and Mechanicus before you even get close to an alien book.
Honestly, there's quite a few good Mechanicus books. There's a few good Tau books.
I
There's a lot of Orc books.
have not found a Mechanicus book that's bad. Surprisingly.
No, really and honestly, even if you go like sub away from Mechanicus to the like the Titan books or the God Machine books, they're still really fucking good.
Yeah, it's weird.
See-
I don't know how you write computers to be so fucking interesting.
Oh, they do. And I made a mistake. So talking back at the beginning when I first came in of like, where do you start? I started with an Imperator Titan book. Or Imperator God Machine book. I can't remember exactly which one it was.
Wait,
But
is it,
that's-
was it the one with the DSE day?
Zine
Uh,
Jackass,
with,
I will be doing a
Computers
Tau
to
video
Show.
tomorrow.
The one I started with was there was a chance of corruption inside. You're following a mechanic or a not a mechanic, or yeah, no, a mechanic inside this god machine, this Emperata, and there's an Inquisitor trying to snoop out heresy, and it turns out you're on a war or a planet already doing war, and yeah, there's a dark mechanic and tech priest trying to take over this machine, and the whole plot unveils from there, and it all happens inside an Imperator.
What's your favorite
Which-
Legion, Ultramarines? Any books you recommend for AdMech or Call? Mechanicus for Horus Heresy is a really good book that goes into how the Mechanicum functions. Belisarius Call and the
Call.
Great Work and Genefather are his 2 books.
Ours 2 books and 2 amazing books, because not only
Yes.
does one give the history on Call and the Primaris, Genefather gives more current of what Call's trying to currently work on. Also, there's a fun connection to Dark Imperium at the beginning of Genefather.
It's really good.
You know, it's so fucking good because you remember at the beginning of Genefather or Dark Imperium when Gilliman goes to talk to the
Call Minoris.
the beginning of that book is called Getting the Response from Gilliman. And we find out Paul's not the one asking to be.
It's the fucking Call Minoris.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what the fuck are you asking that guy?
He literally goes, I'm going to have to deal with you, but not right now.
I'm a little bit busy, studying a giant fucking rock.
So he sends in the message. It's supposed to go through, and he does calculate the message can be miscued because it is just regurgitating Call's words. That I need to read. I gotta deal with you, but not right now. But he does tell in the message that's supposed to be transmitted. I am not asking to be Fabricator General. I don't want to be Fabricator General. I have too much other shit to be doing.
It is. Oh my god! Dark Imperium and Gullyman and Call are 2 of the most funniest characters right now in 40k. Mostly because Call could give less of a fuck about what's going on around him. He's only interested in science and shit, and just learning how the galaxy is working right now. And then there's Gullyman dealing with everything else.
So the thing is that even though Gulliman in that book, in Dark Imperium and in Genefather is calling for Call to come back, not pun intended. What Call's currently doing, the reason why he's so fucking out there in the Imperium, is he is trying to do something to save the Imperium. He has figured out and got a collection, if you will, of Blackstone pylons, and he's gotten he's got them to connect up to each other. He just can't get them to work properly. The whole focus of that book for Call in it is he's trying to convince other Forge Worlds to go with him to grab a Blackstone controller panel the Necrons have left over. It's the only one left in existence.
And
that is that.
I want to tell everybody this. Call may be the only character in the Mechanicus army for 40k, but the Mechanicus fucking hate him.
Oh, he does.
They hate him so much.
Because he's innovation. But the thing is, and he fights it every time, is that, and it's actually, there's a whole thing in the book because you're fighting, he's got Call trying to convince multiple Forge Worlds to help him. Some of them are calling him a heretic. You don't want to see his point of view, is that he's not inventing new things. He's just reinventing things that had already existed in the golden age of technology. They had already existed. Their knowledge that had already existed. He's just regurgitating it and bringing it back.
How dare you make a flying rhino? We had them before!
And that's exactly it. And there's a lot of the Forge Worlds that go, yeah, you know what? That's right. That's still, that you're not inventing something new. That's still within the rules of the Mechanicum. But also, fuck you because you're doing it.
Show me where in our Bible where it says we can't have cool floating shit.
That already existed somewhere else.
Exact. That's what's funny about Call.
I can't make a space thing based off the blueprints the Emperor himself put out. Don't be lying to me, people. And then you're better than us, so therefore we hate.
Yeah.
He's funny.
He made a tank out of a goddamn shampoo bottle. Of course it's not heretical.
Exactly. But it's so fun to watch him or listen to him in the books, because even in the great work, you end up learning that Call is a collection of 5 different souls, and that the first soul that he connected with and became one with was being called Call by the Emperor and was given the orders to improve his space marines before the Emperor got grievously injured and put in the Golden Throne.
And this is why you read the books and don't listen to the weirdos on Twitter.
Yeah, because Call was literally, before he even knew the Emperor, in a different soul, in a different body, was being told to improve my space marines because I will not be around to do it.
Everqueen just said he's Legion from Mass Effect.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Nice.
Yes.
You know what's the best part?
My favorite tech, my favorite tech.
I finally understand all of Mass Effect because I finally was able to replay the entire trilogy. I was finally able to understand everything, so now I get that joke. I'm very happy.
But it's just the complete stupidity and funniness of Call. Just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go do what I want because I'm actually trying to save the universe and make things to save the universe and use xenotech even though we're not supposed to. Because fuck you, you want to save the universe without the technology that they have.
Someone did ask, genuine question, could Cadia have survived if Abaddon wasn't able to push the Blackstone Fortress into the planet? No. If he didn't use the Blackstone Fortress, he would have just did an Exterminatus. He would have blown it up. There was no way Cadia was surviving. Abaddon's entire goal was to blow Cadia up.
Even if he couldn't blow it up, he just would have kept throwing forces at it until he took it.
Yeah,
And
sure.
let's all be original here. He only threw the Blackstone Fortress because he was throwing a fit because he was losing at that point.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
He got mad, threw a fit because he's not goddamn Horus. I'm trying to be better than Dad. You can't tell me I'm not better than Dad, and threw the fucking Blackstone Fortress at fucking Cadia.
Is the only way to be a Grey Knight is to be a Psyker? Yes, you can only become a Grey Knight if you have psychic potential. I
And you
enjoyed
have
your
to be a
videos on Legit
high-level
Card Games.
psyker too.
Yes.
Like, you can't just have the basic. Oh.
Now hold on. Ravenor told me that if you were drugged up on demonic drugs, you too could become a Grey Knight.
What?
Yeah, so in the Ravenor book, there's this, Ravenor is the student of Eisenhorn, and he got, like, his own omnibus trilogy. It's great.
Yep.
In Ravenor. His student. Isengard? So Ravenor basically is tracking down this drug network, and it's called the Flakes. It's basically cocaine. It's demonic cocaine. And so he finds this one kid who, he just recently lost his sister, and he's so depressed and addicted to the flakes that he was going to go buy some from a dealer, and Ravenor reads his mind and knows, like, oh, this kid's a psyker, and he's leading me straight towards where I need to go. Oh, no!
And he's on drugs.
And he's on drugs. Son of a bitch! So he grabs the kid, essentially, like, goes through his brain, and, like, okay, so it's this guy, this guy, this guy, and it's, like, this whole network. And then he keeps this kid along with him for some reason, and everyone's like, why do you have a kid? Like his entire inquisitorial group is just like, sir, I understand that you're unorthodox in your methods, but why do we have a child with us? And he says, I don't know. I feel like good things will happen if I keep this kid around. And
It's my
He's my good luck charm.
then at the end of the series, like at the end of the book of the series, I don't remember which. It's been a while since I read Ravenor. He hands this kid off to the Grey Knights, and that kid becomes Hyperion. And if you don't know who Hyperion is, Hyperion was famous because he's the guy who banished Angron back during the First War of Armageddon.
For a moment, boss, I was half expecting you to say he was going to become Alaric from the Grey Knights Omnibus. I was thinking, oh, God, no.
He's Hyperion.
Thank goodness for that.
And
'cause,
I
oh, dear.
laughed so hard.
Excuse me. Hyperion is a company in Borderlands.
But yeah, like, so you read this kid's story, and he starts out as, like, this miserable drug addict, and then years later, he's a fucking Grey Knight sergeant fighting Angron with a force stab and screaming at him, I banished the Angron! Son of the Emperor, back to the warp!
These for you!
And then, like, you learn, like, his opinion on, like, the Space Wolves, and it's like, yeah, no, I kind of agree with the Space Wolves on this one. That, like, we should just let these people live. And then he's, like, told to shut the fuck up, and he's like, you got it, sir. It's gonna end badly, though.
It's like, you want to mess around with the biggest rebels that have been around before Horus. Okay,
You-
continue.
You want to fuck around and find out. Okay.
Oh, Inquisitor Grandmaster, I don't think we should fuck around and find out. Shut up, scrub. Okay. Teleport.
Okay.
Space Wolf, Logan Grimnar teleports to their ship, beheads both of them, leaves. So, where's my apology?
Where's my apology? Hmm?
We haven't heard from Hyperion since. I think he might be dead, which sucks, but like...
It's the Grimdark. I have corrupted one of my friends who loves books into listening to Warhammer books. And I am so... I don't feel sorry for her. She was asking questions. She brought this on herself.
Yeah, no, I have plenty of my friends now who are just like, you motherfucker, what did I do? You got me into this, you fuck. Yeah.
I started her on the Fabia's Bile books, and she's now completed all 3 of them. And she's like, "You're a fucking asshole." I'm like, "Why?" She was able to regurgitate. Her niece was asking her questions about Warhammer, and she was able to regurgitate a bunch of shit I said and from the books. And she's like, "I fucking hate you. You've ruined me."
Hey, I was wondering if you ever talked about the Octarius War, about Tyranids versus Orcs versus Humies. I have not talked about the Octarius War. I want to save, like, campaigns. So, something that a lot of people have been asking me, like, have you covered this? Have you covered that? My goal with my TikTok channel is to give people a door to come in. So, like, you have, like, the, each of the faction overviews, and not going into detail about them. Because, like, I don't want to overload new people with too much information, because that's a trap a lot of 40k players and a lot of 40k people fall into when trying to bring people in. You overload people with information.
Yeah.
And, like,
But
you
I
need to find a focus, and then you need to break it down and talk to someone like they're a 5-year-old. Not like as insulting. Not just the Space Marines are no, like, the Space Marines are genetically altered super soldiers. They were created by a guy named the Emperor of Mankind. Originally there was 20, but due to a certain event, and, like, you go over the basics of who they are.
Yeah.
And
it's also really hard because at times, and actually some people put it perfectly, you put it perfectly yourself, there's so many different little things in the universe of Warhammer ties to this, and this is the reason why this exists, and it's like you really are trying hard to, like, simplify it down to explain it, because there's so many things that just intertwine to each other. Like, the only reason the orcs exist is because of the Necrons and the War in Heaven.
Exactly. And some people are like, well, why didn't you talk about this or this? Because it's details that are unneeded when you were explaining something to a newcomer. If a newcomer is interested, you tell them the basics, and then you trust that they are smart enough to go research it themselves.
I don't know. I think it's very important when talking about Iron Hands that they really want to be in that damn Dreadnought. Like, they really want to be in that damn Dreadnought. If you don't put Dreadnought, they're going to put themselves in the Dreadnought.
I mean, so much so they actually tore someone out of another chapter's Dreadnought with the Hospitallers. They literally rocked up, say, "Oh, he's going to die. We're going to take this other chapter's Dreadnought, tear the guy out of it." Use the bloody thing.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen the cartoon short of thing called The King with 2 Crowns or whatever. It's a Swedish animator. And it's just that. It's like, oh, you have a thing that you're not using currently because you're dead? Hey,
the bits.
Bill, you really wanted to be in a Dreadnought, right? Come chop your limbs off and shove you in here.
Yeah, so, like...
Looking like, why? It's our Dreadnought. You're not using it. It's ours now.
Yeah, I am trying to educate people, and the way how you educate people is that you don't throw someone in the fucking deep end.
I like doing that.
If someone wants to be dumped in the deep end, I will. I will get the whiteboard. I will write it out. But the point of my videos is that they are short, digestible, like 5 to 10 minute videos that people can listen to and then go about their day. And if they want to learn more about it, they can go look it up. They know the basics. They understand the basics. And then they go from there.
They understand their basic bitches.
And then once I'm done with all, like, the introduction, I will go into campaigns and I will go into other stories, but I'm still going to break it down and simplify it. Because you do not need to understand the fucking deployment methods in the Bad Dab War. You just need to understand the key events. Chapters are
But you-
deployed to the center of the galaxy. They keep getting fucked over by the administration. They try to fix it. The administration tells them to fuck off. It leads to a civil war.
But the answer is the critical part of the story. You're missing it. Not fuck off.
It's you want to learn more about the Bad Dab War and the details within it. You know the name. You can research it. I know a lot of people are like, well, people on the internet are stupid. Yes, in some instances, but also the individual is smart enough to go and find the information for themselves. If you
least we
want to
hope
read
so.
these books, you totally can. There are ways to do it, and I will give you every way to do it. I have made videos explaining like where to start, where to go, how to do it, everything. And I know not everyone has seen them, and I'm going to have to keep reminding them that I've made this. And that's the point of what I want to do. I see so many channels, so many lore channels, so many gameplay channels that expect you to have like even just a little bit of common knowledge. But like no one that's new to 40K does have that common knowledge. Most of the people didn't even know that the Emperor was a corpse on a throne.
Yeah, I don't know. Besides your videos, because you're doing them on TikTok in short 3-minute gerbs, the only other person that really does a really good job at breaking them down at such like the level of like speaking to a child but not being insulting is Bricky. Bricky's original introductions to Warhammer and their factions is such a good basic gerbing of just here's what the basics.
Bricky is what I describe as entertaining education for 40K.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily get everything right because, and he's admitted to this.
And
he's admitted to it. He has to make it entertaining and he has to make it, you know, interesting to a common audience. And you know what? I fully agree. I fully agree with that statement. He wants to make it entertaining, and sometimes, yeah, you do have to embellish shit to make it entertaining.
Yeah,
I am on the side of. I am on the
thing is great. It is a great introduction. It's a great, simple, just glove. Even if he gets some of the information wrong because it has changed or he just kind of missed it at the point, right?
Yep. And where I differ is that yes, I want it to be entertaining, but the thing itself should be entertaining and interesting to the individual. I will tell you about it. I will fill you in on the basics and the need to know. And then I will tell you, I will ask, like, does that interest you at the end of the day? Because, like, not everything's going to interest everyone. I, myself, I play Ultramarines, I play Black Legion, I play Thousand Suns, World Eaters, Orcs, Sisters of Battle. Those factions interest me. But you know what faction doesn't interest me? Tyranids. They're bugs. I don't like them. Ew.
Fuck bugs.
Ah!
I've played enough.
But
I've done enough. I played again enough games of fucking Tyranids, of fucking Math Hammer players that fucking get it down to a T of maximum synergy where you can't break their lines. Fuck bugs.
But just because I don't like them doesn't mean I won't hype them up. I do see the appeal of them. I just don't.
Yes.
I just don't like having to remember my fucking synapse ranges.
Mhm.
Oh, by the way, since we're on the topic of bugs, boss, there's a whole debate going on Discord between Tyranids and Xenomorphs.
Guys,
Uh,
Tyranids are fucking better Xenomorphs. Stop. What does a Xenomorph do, guys? A Xenomorph's got claws and acid blood and a second tongue that is very good in bed, but nowhere else, okay? That's all they got. And then you introduce Tyranids.
Brain meat.
Then you introduce Tyranids, which are inspired from them,
Yeah.
which are infinitely better than them. And
I would also like to remind everybody that when you go, oh, hey, Tyranids are like Zerg. No. Zerg are Tyranids.
yeah,
Warcraft was a Warhammer game, but they
Until
backed
lost
up
the
last
license,
second.
wasn't it?
yeah, they lost the license, and oh man, what could have been. But anyway, but yeah, so like,
we got Dawn of War instead, so.
Yeah, and Dawn of War turned 20 2 days ago.
And we don't talk about Dawn of War 3.
by the way, I haven't played the Dawn of War 2. They updated the game, right? Like they just updated the game.
No, they just gave everyone access to like all the DLC and stuff.
Oh,
And also Steel Ring.
oh, fuck! Did I
Yeah.
get all the DLC? Did they give?
You should. There's 2 DLC I don't have for some reason, but that's like the Necron one. And
Oh fuck! They did give
the-
it all to me. Yay!
I have everything but 2 of them for some reason.
Yay!
It fucked you.
Was it Soulstorm or was that in Dawn of War 1?
All of them.
I'm trying to think of
Let's
the
go,
one with,
Word Bearer
Sisters.
Skid Pack! Woo! Dark Crusade is still the best Dawn of War. I am not going to disagree. But,
Like potential Dawn of War 3 if they didn't fuck it up.
all you had to do was not make it League of Legends.
Exactly. It wasn't-
Yeah.
And you fucked it up!
All,
You had
all you
one
had-
job, and
all
you
you had-
failed.
all they had to do was just copy Dawn of War 1 or Dawn of 2's formula. That's it.
No, so, okay, I'm actually going to... Okay, I'm going to do something that's rather precarious for me.
Controversial.
Heretical?
I am a Dawn of War 3 apologist.
Oh,
So,
I'm not mad.
Okay.
I'm not mad. I just want to hear your reasoning.
So I
I'm not
can
mad.
see
I'm
what they
just
were
disappointed.
trying to do. I can see what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
They wanted a mix of Dawn of War 1 and Dawn of War 2 because they were trying to take the best elements
Yeah.
of both, which for Dawn of War 1 was the aggressive base building and resource control. Okay, understandable. But they wanted to keep it small like Space Marine 2 with like squad tactics and such, which again, not a bad idea. Part of the problem with Dawn of War 1 was that there was just so much going on and that a lot of armies felt like they didn't have like enough going for them while others felt overtuned. Hi Eldar, hi Tau, hi Necrons,
Which is
You're
what they were
welcome.
trying to do with Retribution.
which is what they were trying to do with Retribution. But people didn't like Dawn of War 2 because it didn't have that base building mechanic and it felt really stagnant. But and then there was like this really cool thing with the heroes that they introduced. So over the course of a game, you pick 3 heroes, and over the course of a game, those heroes unlock and you can deploy them, ranging from like a Deathwatch kill team to a Eldar Autarch to an Orc fucking Gorkanaut. And that's really cool. And then like you had like specific tactics that you could build your army around, which again was really cool. It let you customize how you play your game. Now, again, I fully get the problems with it. The resource system fucking sucks. Let's put it this way. It took me 10 minutes to be able to get 1 Space Marine squad by
Yeah,
just sitting
that's
there
not-
and
no.
watching the resource counter go up. Whereas in Dawn of War 1 and 2, it took me like 30 seconds in Dawn of War 1 and a minute in Dawn of War 2.
And they die super quickly too.
They die super quickly. Again, the game modes for Dawn of War 3 were terrible because there was 3-lane bullshit because they wanted, for some goddamn reason, someone thought it'd be an infinitely good idea to just copy League of Legends for an RTS. No, that's not how that works. And as well, the 3 starting factions. How do you have less factions to start with than Dawn of War 1?
Yeah.
Dawn of War 1 had Marines, Orcs, Eldar, and Chaos Marines as playable. In Dawn of War 3, you only had Marines, Eldar, and Orcs. And the Eldar, again, felt overtuned. What's up, AOG? Doing good. How are you? It was poorly thought out with how the game was released. The campaign was a total nothing burger. Even though, like, they brought back fucking Gabriel, Maka, and Gorguts. And they made Gorguts a fucking grapple hook hand. I fucking love that! How do you fuck this up? But, like,
Very carefully.
I played the game, I played it with my friends, and I could see the potential. I could see the fun.
They
And
flew too close to the sun with wax wings.
it needed another faction. And I know they were planning another faction. They were heavily hinting Necrons. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Because
Yeah,
like,
it's worse off is that they even though they realize their issues with it, they just instead of just continue on supporting the game in some way to try to make it better, to give some things that are fun, they just dropped it completely. They just dropped support of it completely.
yeah, and
Was this about the same time THQ went bust?
No,
Or were they
THQ went
already
bust
under
way
a degree?
before that. THQ
Yeah.
went bust after Space Marine 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, that wasn't because Space Marine 1 was a flop.
No.
Space Marine 1 gave them a little bit extra cash to keep moving, but it was the
THQ
U draw
was already
tablet
in.
that was the death sentence.
They were already in the barrel.
Yeah, and it's a whole thing. Actually, Matt McMuscles on YouTube did a very good video on it. He actually went over it, which is really good.
Speaking of Dawn of War, and I want to give some acknowledgement to this. There is somebody on YouTube. I think it's called Zorphammer. I don't know the guy. I don't whatever. I've seen some of his videos where he's literally turned and taken Dawn of War and the rule set to fit 10th edition and to put it on the tabletop. And it is
Oh, I
funny as
saw
hell.
that!
It is so fucking cool. Like the last video they just released, and they have this a giant built walk-in castle, Imperium fortress they played on. But he's actually got in the video a link to the PDF file for free on how to do Dawn of War with 10th edition.
Ooh, that's tasty.
And it looks so much fun. Now, mind you, the buildings he are using are 3D printed. He does have the link to the 3D printed to the guy who is making the 3D print files for the Dawn of War buildings. They are completely taken from the games, remade into 3D print files. So if you have a 3D printer, you're on set of making these buildings. If not, whatever, you could find a way around it. But he literally made, with a group of guys, the rule sets to play Dawn of War on the tabletop. And what I find is the coolest thing is the first 5 turns are played in a fog of war.
Ooh.
So your opponent can't see what you're doing. You can't see what your opponent's doing until the fog of war after turn 5 is lifted. It's like, this is an all-day game system, right? You're not going to be doing this in like 3 hours. But the idea of just being able to go, hey, why not play Dawn of War on the tabletop?
But yeah, like, I do sort of defend Dawn of War 3. I am not saying it does not have problems. I will be the first one to tell you it has massive problems. But I also saw its potential, and I'm very sad that they never gave it a shot. In fact, like, it's so abandoned that, like, Games Workshop and Sega don't even bring it up.
No, they don't talk about
Like,
it.
they discontinued the Gabriel Angelos model, which I don't blame them for that one. His face was horrible.
Yeah. But it's just sad to acknowledge a piece of lore that they worked on, that another company worked on, just because it was a...
Like, I could show
was
you how
tough.
bad this model looked. It was terrible. Like, take a look at this, chat. Take a look at this fucking creature. Look at that fucking face. Look at that
Yeah.
face.
You want to talk about a game that was a flop? Oh yeah, that's bad. Is obviously I am a Borderlands fan, and Borderlands 3, mechanic-wise, was a lot of fun. The story was complete fucking shamble garbage.
Oh, I
It was a
will
little bit
agree to that
material.
one. I will agree to that
You know,
one.
I
You
love
don't
Borderlands
kill
2.
the best
The humor
siren.
was- Yeah. The problem is, well, I don't care. That gives emotion. You kill fucking somebody in an emotional way, but how they killed her, the villains were meh. The story, the core basic of the story they were trying to tell was actually good, but they were trying to be too with the times, and I think that took away from it for me. Where it was like, this is too cringe. You guys are trying too hard to be relevant. You guys should just stick to the jokes you've always done in Borderlands, to just being that adult humor and poking fun at different
Can we
genres.
agree that the Penn and Teller fight was hilarious?
Oh, it was fucking amazing. When I saw that I was playing it, probably best part of the fucking game was the Penn and Teller fight.
I saw Penn and Teller, and I was laughing, and I was playing with my brother. He's like, who the fuck are these two? I'm like, they're two very famous magicians.
Oh, and they're funny magicians. They're great. Dude, I love watching Fool Me. But in fact, when I went to that fight, I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds like Penn. those look like Penn and Teller. Started looking up. Yeah, that's fucking Penn and Teller.
You want to know how I learned about Penn and Teller?
Wow.
I learned about him through Angry Video Game Nerd with Desert Bus. That's how I learned about these two fucks, and then I researched them, and I'm like, oh my god, they're genuinely hilarious.
So I knew about them, and then I started watching Fool Us here a couple years ago because they're funny. When I was in Vegas, almost 9 years ago, visiting my grandparents. My grandpa said the one show he wouldn't see is Penn and Teller because he just doesn't like them. He heard they were arrogant outside of being on the show and everything. I'm like, yeah, but they're good magicians and they're funny. So that's a show I wish I would have gotten to see, but
yeah, like back to 40K here. So like, I see someone asking, is like, would it be weird to want a 40K farming game? No, there'd be like, I could imagine a Sims like flavored game where like you're trying to build up a Hive world or a Mechanicum world.
I would love that. A resource management game? Oh.
Hear me out. For you
Oh.
Stardew Valley players out there, just say Warhammer 40K skin for Stardew Valley. Just a revamp of Stardew Valley as Warhammer 40K.
Necron Factory Simulator. Oh, listen. Farva has a partner. Like he has a girlfriend. She would never see him again if that happened.
No. I go in this weird moments and she's realized it of like, I will play a game really hard for a little while and then I'll just like disappear for months because I just hit it too hard for too much. Yeah, she would see me. I would make sure she would see me. Whether
You would
in
make
my-
sure that she would see you.
Oh yeah, she would. She would 100% drag my ass out.
Come, it is time for your daily vegetable.
No, it's not the thing. It's like, come here and love me.
Good evening, sir. How are you today? And what topics are we talking about tonight? I just got here. We've been talking about like Warhammer and everything else from like
Life, love, loss. What's that word?
Borderlands 3, Dawn of War 3. How 3 is that kind of number where it's like it's either going to be the best of the series or it's going to make you want to die.
And why they just boss have that weird tumor in the back of his neck?
His name is Franklin,
Oh.
and he's not a tumor. He's an ingrown demonic force that whispers sweet nothings into my ear.
Accepting Thousand Sun demons in your brain.
Yes!
It's
They
basically
teach
one of
me
those-
horrible things!
Wasn't that like two twins in Warhammer Fantasy Battle as it was before?
Yep,
it became a
they're
Sigma, where it
they're a
was,
playable faction in fucking Total War.
brilliant.
They're terrible, but I love them. And that's who's your favorite Primarch from Loyalist and Traitor?
Out of time, Steve answered this question.
Gulliman, because Gulliman is he's the Primarch that he learns from his mistakes. He's the kind of guy who like you just relate to on a level where it's like, oh my god, same bud. Because like the workload and then just like him dealing with stupid every fucking day. And he's just like, I want to get you out of my office because you're annoying the shit out of me.
But you're also kind of telling me something I need to pay attention to, but also, fuck you, you're a priest.
And then like Magnus, because I love the tragedy of Magnus the Red. People are like, but Magnus is a good boy. He did nothing wrong, and I'm like, yes.
Well, he did everything. He
did-
did everything wrong.
Well, that's the
There's
thing.
30 grades
That's the
of coal
thing.
in
That's the thing, Farva. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, because he did nothing. But he also did everything.
I like both of them. But Thousand Suns and Ultramarines are my favorite factions. So like,
For me, it's Ferrus Manus
Shock.
and actually Fulgrim.
oh,
I do like pre-heretical Emperor's Children.
yeah, no,
very much-
when I was deciding my 30K army, it was either Loyalist Emperor's Children or fucking Ultramarines.
Well, it's even funny. Have you looked in the book of who the Swarm Brothers are to the Emperor's Children?
Yeah,
I could
it's-
run
it's-
Iron Hand Swarm Brothers
Yeah.
with Emperor's Children, which makes me so fucking happy because the bullshit rule for Swarm Brothers in Heresy V2 is so fucking good. To the point of my buddies who got me into Heresy didn't realize how strong I could make my Mechanicum side of my Allied Forced Army because my Iron Hands is my main army. That I have all these Iron Hand things that give vehicles 5 up feel no pains and other and then or 5 up will not die and other things to the rest of my army. Yeah, no, that all bleeds over to the Mechanicum as well because they're Swarm Brothers, and it's not Legion specific rules because it doesn't say Legionnaire in the rules. It just says special rule.
I'm trying to find the ally chart.
Oh, for me, Perturabo.
No, not Peter Turbo.
Second
Not Peter
favorite
Turbo.
would have
There is
to
a tragedy
be.
to good old Peter Turbo.
I understand that. I make the joke because it's funny and his name's hard to say sometimes. But
Yeah.
there is a true tragedy. But it's also kind of him being a whiny bitch too. So if he would have
Con.
just said no and said no, I'm going to do this and prove himself instead of just building weapons on his
Do
own.
we have the
world.
allies chart in the main fucking rulebook? Hold on.
It's in the main rule book. Yeah,
I'm gonna look for this because I want to see like who my Ultramarines can ally with.
everyone.
Word bearers.
Oh, you want me to have an aneurysm? 276. Oh boy, by the way, I have a how to play Horus Heresy video on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Horus Heresy is amazing.
It's very fun.
I need to get into that.
It's
since
almost
my
better than
first
10th
one pretty much
edition.
Dead.
It's actually
It's-
it's better than 10th.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, the best box that GW has released in years was Dark Heresy.
Yes, it was.
Like $350 Canadian, by the way, for 4 tactical squads, a Terminator squad of 10, a Land Raider Spartan, a Dreadnought, and 2 characters, along with a hardcover rulebook, 2 quick start guides, dice, metallic coins, and reaction cards, and 2 meter sticks along with templates. Fuck yeah, it's the best one.
Yep.
All right, Ultramarines, where? Okay, so I'm gonna find my boys. Ultramarines. We are fellow warriors with Emperor's Children. Iron Hands. Oh.
You want Swarm Brothers. Swarm Brothers gives you the special rules.
Yeah, let's go.
Against Thousand Sons.
We're Sworn Brothers with Iron Hands, so I'm Sworn Brothers with my
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
Thousand Sons, Ultramarines. Distrusted allies. Oof. Oof, my favorite traitor legion and my favorite loyalist legion do not get along. Word bearers.
And they were roommates.
And they were roommates. Distrusted allies as well. Wait, do I have a by the Emperor's command? Oh yeah, with War Leaders. But they're my only one. War Leaders are the only ones that I have like come the apocalypse, not before.
Yeah.
Would Horus have beaten
Hey.
Sanguinius without the empowerment? Yes.
But me and you, buddy, we're Swarm
Yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah, Iron Hands and
Got rules.
Ultramarines! Let's
We're
go!
Blue boys and blackberries.
Yeah!
Do you remember back in the day when they first introduced the ally thing? When I think it was a doubles tournament in 2010 when they first introduced that, and then the only one you couldn't have was the Nids. You couldn't have any
oh my
friends.
god, the 6th edition ally chart was such a fucking nightmare.
No. 8th edition, because I started. I'm gonna show my youngness to Warhammer, which is I started right at the beginning of 8th edition. Like 7th edition just ended. Everybody was just learning 8. That's when I got pulled in, and I learned, which I found it wasn't broken. It was not even a rule that's denied me anything. Is that back in 8th, as long as you shared a overall faction keyword, you could run 2 armies together in soup. Well, I was trying to play Necrons at Tau at the beginning, which have no fucking synergy whatsoever. But it was completely legal.
So, do you want to know how they did it back in 6th edition? Because I played through 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
So, back during the days of 6th edition, this was the first time they introduced allies.
Back in my
So, they had, like, it's the same thing in Horus Heresy. They have Battle Brothers, which is friendly units can benefit from allied psychic powers. You can board ally vehicles, all that kind of stuff. You can have allied characters join allied squads. Allies of Convenience. Both armies can be together, but they don't get any of the benefits for being together. You can't have friendly characters go in transports and other squads.
Yeah.
Desperate Allies. Both armies have units have to stay 6 inches away from each other, or you have to do a leadership check. If they fail the leadership, they stand there and do nothing.
No, I'm not going for it because they're standing there too.
Yep, come the apocalypse, not
Pretty
before,
much.
it's 12 inches. And so Tyranids had no friends. The entire Allies matrix is that they're come the apocalypse with everybody. You want to know who had the most allies?
Guard.
Marines.
The Tau.
I
The
think it was
Tau
Guard.
did.
Oh.
Oh yeah, because of
Tau.
Yes, they did.
Tau.
How
Okay, allow me to tell you all the
everybody had
factions that Tau could battle brother with. They could battle brother with Eldar and Space Marines.
Space Marine.
They were allies of
Space Marine.
convenience with Black Templars, Blood Angels, Chaos Space Marines, Dark Angels, desperate allies with Dark Eldar, Grey Knights, Imperial Guard, Necrons, Orcs, desperate allies with Sisters of Battle, and allies of convenience with Space Wolves.
Yeah, because after the dawn, Space was just gonna kill them.
I just want to remind everybody, I said allies of convenience with Chaos Space Marines.
Hey, Tau does not discriminate on who they're gonna fuck over.
And then I said brother, like battle brothers for Tau and Eldar. So,
Yeah,
do you want to know what the most broken thing in 6th edition was?
Tau and Eldar.
Taudar.
Eldar.
Because
Tauda,
the Eldar had special psychic powers in their book that gave all of their units better shooting, as well as made it harder for their stuff to get hit. So, when you were playing Tau, you only brought like a cadre fireblade. That's it. That's all you brought. And then you brought Farseers and Warlocks. And then the rest of the Tau army that you want to bring. The amount of bullshit that this army got away with. Oh my god. Topping every event. And it only got worse when the fucking stealth battle suit was brought in.
oh, don't remind me of that. That broke
Wall
me.
of Mirrors was bullshit. And then 7th edition came. 7th edition came around. And they tried to fix the ally chart. They tried. They narrowed it down so that way, like, each individual Space Marine chat, like, if you were Imperial faction, you were just armies of the Imperium from this point forward.
Yeah.
So, armies of the
Way
Imperium,
it was.
they all treat each other like battle brothers. Okay, understandable. Eldar, they were allies of convenience, but if you were Dark Eldar, Tau, you were allies of desperation, and then everything else was come the apocalypse, not before. And then they tried to nerf Tau and Eldar by making them allies of convenience. Okay, so I can't cast these spells on Tau units anymore. But that doesn't mean that I still can't use both of them in the same army and cause massive amount of issues. Because when they introduced 7th edition Eldar, they gave them debuff spells. So yeah, I don't have to put my Eldar Farseers inside Tau units anymore. All I gotta do is put them on a bike, fly them up to the front of the table, debuff somebody, and then let the Tau kill them.
With searchlights, marker
Yep.
lights everywhere.
Yep, so not only do you not get a save, I get to hit you on 2s. And you don't get a save, period. Fuck you.
Oh man, thank God they fixed fucking marker lights and shit in 10th.
Oh,
Well, the only good thing in fucking Tau in 10th edition was.
Let's put this way. When I started way back April 2007, I played my first game was my Space Marine chapter, my custom Space Marine chapter. Only had a small handful of squads, and it was against Tyranids. We got annihilated. I'm infamous. I am known to have Lamentor luck. My second game, I didn't realize the group I was with was full of tournament cheeseheads.
Oh,
highest
God.
Yeah.
Oh,
My
Yeah.
second
God.
game of 4th edition was the Fish of Fury loadouts.
Ah. I
You
know
poor
that
bastard.
one. But
And the
so
thing is,
I
instead of my history, because my luck is so bad, I have managed thus far with my plasmas, even today with overcharge, my plasma weapons have killed my own units more than the enemy in its history. I managed to blow up a unit behind me with scattered ice on a double 6 in an apocalypse game with a plasma cannon. I've
oof.
managed to Gate of Infinity an entire assault squad into a pillar next to the table
Oof.
because I got another double 6. I am
Here's-
infamous at this. I need a Lamenter.
I was about to say, there's an easy fix to this. Just actually play Lamenters. Maybe you might
Yeah.
actually start rolling better.
Moist
Probably at
Donkey.
least
I have videos that do recommend it both on my YouTube and on my TikTok. You can look there. But we actually, so in my community for a while, we did have like one of those cheese heads. He actually calmed down a lot later on. But during
People
like,
refuse to play him.
during the height of this kid's ego, we were playing in a tournament. And by the way, this was like start of 8th edition, so he had both the Imperial Guard and Imperial Knights Codex. I was playing Orcs with only the Index.
Yeah.
And we both
So-
made it to the finals.
Yeah. I will admit, before I knew what cheesing was, the 8th edition Imperial Knights Codex is what got me into Imperial Knights, other than I already loved them. That got me more. I had a Guard Army Knights with Mechanicum, and I didn't win games, mind you. I did win some games, but I was kind of that pseudo cheesehead. Mind you, the Mechanicum stopped me from being any more useful than that. But when I learned what that was afterwards, I'm like, I feel like a piece of shit because I didn't even know this was an existing cheese army and something people were doing, and I immediately sold my guard shit off to a buddy, not wanting to touch it ever fucking again.
So,
Kept the Knights.
so
Knights.
this event was special because it was like a locals event. The creator of the event made a 2d6 table called Dance of the Gods. Basically, there was no negative effect. It buffed both armies, but if you were playing that faction that the dice rolled onto for their god, you got a little bit extra. Not much, just a little bit. So for orcs, it gave the ability to teleport one of your units around the board, following deep strike rules.
Nice.
For orcs, it allowed you to teleport your opponent's unit. So, this game was called The Relic. It was a mission back in 8th edition where essentially it was
I missed the relic.
It was essentially a game of keep away. There's a oddball in the middle. Both teams are trying to grab it. So my entire strategy is that I cannot beat this guy in a straight up fight. He's got too much firepower. He's got 3 knights to my 2 Gorkanauts. There is no way I'm beating that. So the entire strategy became get the relic, fuck off. And so I bum rushed the board as fast as possible, and I managed to get the relic. And so, like, this game was, like, constantly me just trying to keep it away from him the entire game, but then he managed to catch my war boss, my pain boy, and my big mech on a bike in a charge with a knight.
No.
And
Squish, squish, squish.
he teleported
Squish.
another knight on top of that into the managed to get that knight into the combat too.
Yeah.
So I thought I was screwed. And he killed my war boss who was holding the relic. And he's like, okay, and now I pick up the relic. I stare him dead in the eye and I say, how? Well, my knight can pick it up. Nope. Only infantry can pick it up.
Yep.
And you drag your knight out of combat with my pain boy.
Yep.
And he's like, no.
Yeah.
And I stare this man dead in the eye, and I go, end your turn. Which he has to, because he's got nothing left. So the turn counter goes over. I look him dead in the eye and say, is there anything that you can do that could stop me from what I'm going to do? Because on this final turn, we rolled the Orcs Dance of the Gods.
Yeah.
He said, there's nothing I can do. And I told him, okay, may I touch your knight model? Okay.
You always ask first.
I grab his knight model. I bring it just outside my deployment zone, the furthest fucking away, just to insinuate that point. So that way, his knight doesn't get any points for anything. He's not in my deployment zone. Nothing.
Yeah.
I put it down. I walk back over. Mr. Pokey picks up the fucking artifact and moves into your deployment zone. I win. And the entire event, like everybody at the event was watching that table, and they're like, "Oh my god!" No one clapped. No one clapped. By the way, this wasn't a, "Oh my god, he's so good!" It was a, "Jesus Christ, announcer, did you have to be that cold and distant?"
Oh fuck! Well, my group of guys, I know we would have been laughing and fucking cheering because
My
that
brother
would've
was
been
laughing,
fucking-
and my roommate was laughing. I was just so tired I was done. And then, first prize, here's your prize, buddy. You get a Blood
Is it a
Bowl
knight?
team, and it's elves. I just stare at the guy I beat, and I just passed it over to him, and I walked out. I made my
Oh,
point. I
yeah.
could win with fucking index orcs.
But to that point, it's one of the reasons why I got into Heresy. Was Heresy still has those fun narrative style games with the goofy rules. Actually, this November I'll be going down to Spokane, not to just visit the girlfriend, but to also do a Heresy narrative event he holds every year. That is, he has custom missions he's made. It's based on a story he's come up with, and you've got special missions for your legion, and the missions that are on the table, and they're fun. And we actually kind of stole them for our tournament up here. One of them being like, you have trucks.
Okay.
At the beginning of every player's turn, you roll scatter dice, and the trucks move.
30 minutes.
And if you you got damage the truck to stop it to get the objective off it to hold it. But if you blow the truck up, the objective's destroyed.
Oh, that smells so good. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I just got hit with the smell of my fucking beef stew.
Okay, this isn't fancy. No jizzing in your chair.
I'm not jizzing in my chair, don't worry.
Yeah, how is that? How long have you got before you need to get your stewed stuff?
I actually do
burning
need to
at the
get
base?
going here. But to all those on TikTok, please go subscribe to my YouTube and my Twitch. Remember, if you get me to 1 million subscribers, I will talk about Malal, and I will talk about
Or
the
if you
Sons of
donate
Malice
$1,000 onto his
onto my
Twitch.
Ko-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you do that, I will talk about the Sons of Malice and Malal. Even though they're not fucking canon, I will talk about them. I will do
I would
it.
say the best version of them is the Daunian Heresies Malalamanders.
I will absolutely burn everything you own.
No, AK, give this man money and he will talk about things that he doesn't want to talk about.
Like, I will,
Dance,
if there's
dance.
monetary incentive, I will do it. Just
Just like the good stripper you are.
That's right, I'm a good little 40k whore. Anyway. This is the end of the stream. I do have to get going here, but thank you all so much for coming. TikTok again. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Please follow the Twitch. Very much appreciate it. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Sometimes I stream Friday. It depends. We're back to my regular schedule. Wednesday we will be playing more Space Marine 2. If you want to join in on that, first you have to join into the Discord through either Twitch, because apparently people have been able to join through Twitch. And my TikTok has a link to my link tree, but you'll have to open that up on a web browser because for some reason TikTok fucking hates links.
It's TikTok. It hates everything.
It hates everything. It hates me. But until next time, my lovelies, my friends, I will see you all on Wednesday.
In the grimdark future.